welcome to Everyday Science Questions Answered. We're doing another deep dive today.
Yeah, pulling another one from that great book, 100 Everyday Science Questions Answered by Alessio Guarino.
Exactly. And today's question, it's one I think most of us have probably wondered about. Why does a bicycle stay upright when it's moving?
It's a fantastic question. Because, when it's just standing there.
It falls right over. Zero stability.
Right. But get it moving, start pedaling, and somehow it just stays up.
It seems totally counterintuitive, almost magical, really.
It really does feel that way sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when you think back to learning to ride.
Oh, definitely. That wobbly stage, trying desperately not to tip over.
Exactly. Constantly feeling like you're about to lose it. And then suddenly you get some speed up.
And it becomes stable. It's such a distinct transition from unstable object to, well, something you can actually ride.
Precisely. So let's unpack that magic. It's not actually magic, of course. It's physics.
Right. And you're saying it's not just one single thing.
No, it's really a combination of a few different factors working together. No single silver bullet explanation, unfortunately.
Okay, so where should we start? I've heard people mention the wheels spinning something gyroscopic.
That's often the first thing people think of, yeah. The gyroscopic effect.
And that is a real thing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Any object that's spinning, like a bicycle wheel, has angular momentum, and it wants to keep spinning around the same axis. It resists being tilted.
Like a spinning top staying upright.
Exactly like that. Or if you hold a bicycle wheel by the axle, spin it fast, and then try to tilt it.
You feel it push back.
You really do. It resists that change in direction. So yes, the spinning wheels do contribute some stability. They resist the bike falling over.
Okay, so that's part of it.
It is part of it. But, and this is important, research and experiments have shown that for a typical bicycle at normal speeds, the gyroscopic effect is actually, well, a pretty minor contributor.
Oh, really? I always thought that was the main reason.
It's a common thought, but nope. Much more important is something called steering geometry, sometimes called the caster effect.
Steering geometry, caster effect. Okay, what's that?
Right, look at how the front wheel is attached to the bike frame through the fork, right?
Right.
That fork isn't vertical. It's angled backwards, usually around, say, 70 degrees or so relative to the ground.
Okay, I can picture that angle.
That angle is crucial. It creates what's called the caster effect. Think about the little wheels on a shopping cart or an office chair.
Ah, okay. They always seem to trail behind the pivot point, don't they? So they follow the direction you push them.
Exactly. They automatically line themselves. The wheel's contact point with the ground is behind the steering axis. That's the caster effect.
So the bike's front wheel does that too?
Pretty much. This steering angle, combined with how the fork holds the wheel, creates something called trail.
Trail.
Yeah, trail. Imagine drawing a line straight down through the steering axis where the handlebars pivot all the way to the ground. Now, look at where the front tire actually touches the ground. That contact point is usually a bit behind where that steering axis line hits the ground.
Ah, I see. So the contact patch trails the steering axis.
You got it. That distance is the trail. And that is the key to the bike's self-stability.
How does the trail make it stable?
Okay, get this. If the bike starts to lean, say it leans to the right,
Yeah.
that trail causes the front wheel to automatically steer into the lean. So the handlebars will turn slightly to the right.
Wait, it just does that on its own? Because of the trail?
Yes, because the ground forces acting on that trailing contact point push the wheel in that direction. It's like the bike naturally wants to steer where it's falling.
Whoa, okay, so it steers into the lean. Then what?
Well, what happens when you steer right?
You start turning right, you go into a curve.
Precisely. And turning generates forces like centrifugal force, or really the centripetal force acting on the bike that push the bike back upright, or rather, they allow your center of gravity to move back over the wheels.
So the lean causes a steer, the steer causes a turn, and the turn corrects the lean.
That's the essence of it. It's a beautiful self-correcting mechanism built right into the bike's design. It happens passively.
That's actually amazing. So does that mean I'm not really doing anything when I ride? Is the bike doing all the work?
Well, not quite. While that passive stability from the steering geometry is super important, the rider that's you, it's also playing a very active role.
Okay, I thought so. What am I doing then?
You're constantly making small, often subconscious adjustments. Tiny movements of the handlebars, slight shifts in your body weight.
Like when you feel a little wobble and just instinctively nudge the bars.
Exactly, those little nudges. You're actively stabilizing. Your brain is getting constant feedback,
Mhm.
mostly visual, about your balance and orientation.
And making corrections without me even really thinking about it.
Right. You're working with the bike's inherent stability. The steering geometry handles a lot of the moment-to-moment stuff, keeping it from instantly tipping. But your active inputs fine-tune it and deal with larger disturbances or initiate turns intentionally.
Okay, so let's recap what happens. The bike starts to lean.
Yep. Say it leans left this time.
Okay, leans left. Because of the steering geometry, specifically that
The
trail,
front wheel automatically steers a little bit to the left.
which makes the bike start to turn left.
Correct.
And that turn helps bring my weight, my center of gravity, back over the base of support the wheels.
Exactly. It counters the lean. And all this happens while you, the rider, are also making your own tiny adjustments with steering and balance.
So it's really a partnership.
Huh.
The bike's design provides passive self-correction,
Mainly through the caster effect in trail.
and the rider provides active, ongoing stabilization and control.
You've absolutely nailed it. It's this combination that makes bicycle riding possible and, once you learn it, feel relatively effortless. Not just the minor gyroscopic effect, but primarily that clever steering design working with the rider.
That's genuinely fascinating. It takes something familiar like riding a bike and shows this elegant physics behind it all.
It really does. Simple appearance, complex and clever reality.
It makes you think, though, this whole idea of passive self-correction built into the design.
Mm-hmm.
Are there similar principles in other moving things? Like how does a plane stay stable, or even something like, I don't know, a well-thrown frisbee? Do they have their own versions of trail?
That is a fantastic question to leave people with. Think about other objects designed to move stably: cars, aircraft, boats, even animals running. How is stability engineered or evolved into them? Are there similar underlying principles of self-correction at play? Definitely some food for thought there.
Absolutely. Something to ponder on your next bike ride, maybe. Thanks for breaking that down.
My pleasure. Always fun to talk physics.